welcome to another edition of The Metal Voice, where each and every week Jim and I sit here talking about the greatest developments and greatest releases here in the metal community.
That's right, The Metal Voice.
This week, the one and only Lemmy and Motorhead.
We've been waiting for this, Alan.
Motorhead! This used to fit me at one time, Jim. Jim, I have to admit, I'm one of those guys that tune into Motorhead. I'm not like, a lot of people think Motorhead stopped at Ace of Spades. I actually started tuning in with Iron Fist and everything that followed.
Alan, I'm even more of a late bloomer than you are. I started liking Motorhead and Motorizer and Inferno.
Really?
Yes. But I mean, of course, I always knew Ace of Spades. Everybody knew Ace of Spades. I remember when it came out, I knew the whole album. But I just never really paid attention to Motorhead. Unfortunately,
a lot of fans out there, or a lot of people, when they hear the word Motorhead, just equate it to Ace of Spades and nothing else. In fact, the new band with Mickey D and Phil Campbell on guitar has been around longer than that original lineup of Filthy Animal Taylor and Fast Eddie Clarke.
That's right.
Some of my favorite songs from the Motorhead
catalog. Hold on a second. Are we going to talk about the back catalog?
We're talking about the back catalog. We're going to get to the new album soon enough.
All right. But very impatient, Alan. Very impatient.
A lot of my favorite ones are Killed by Death. Stuff that they released after Fast Eddie had actually left the band. Death Forever.
Death Forever.
The whole album, which at the time was penned about going commercial, which Lemmy hasn't forgiven any of his fans since, with the Another Perfect Day with Brian Robertson on guitar. Dancing on Your Grave. Shine. Shine was the one actually before Ace of Spades that turned me on to Motorhead.
I gotta tell you, Bastard is my favorite Motorhead album.
Really?
That's right. It reminds me of this new album.
So let's get into the new album. Jim, you're right. I can tell you're just salivating here to talk to us about it.
Can I get it up? It's going up. There it is. There it is.
We both went out and purchased it. Did you notice that?
The world is yours.
We're not downloading illegally. We actually go out to the stores and purchase this because we want to encourage Motorhead and the other bands for years to come.
So when you first put this album on, what did you think?
The drums, again, Mickey D, everybody knows he's a great drummer, but the drums were unbelievable. And finally, Jim, there's a reason why I don't know Motorizer. There's a reason why I stopped at 1916. I mean, literally, the production. They were killing me on the production. Yeah. And even Lemmy will be the first ones, after Orgasmatron. Good album, rock and roll. Production stunk on it. That's one of the reasons. That's the big difference with this album. The world is yours.
The world is yours.
That's actually the first thing I noticed is finally a producer. I think his name's Cameron Webb.
He also did Inferno.
That's what I heard exactly. Yep. They came out and the sound is unbelievable. Bass galore. I think Lemmy's actually got that amp that goes to 11 on this.
Yeah, yeah.
The cymbal sound, the hi-hats, it's crystal clear. So this is, and the great solos. I think this is some of Phil Campbell's best work.
You know what I love about this album, and Lemmy's always had that same. He's got that laid-back voice. He's not trying to reach those highs. Sometimes, he's trying to get those lows, but he's always a laid-back singer.
It's like a bullfrog that swallowed sandpaper.
Yeah, and you know what? It's his one-liners. That's his
lyrics.
There's
tons of
one-liners.
Lemmyisms, we call them.
That's right. And I love about this album is, like all Motorhead albums, they're groovy. They got they're boogie.
They're boogie.
Sort of boogie sound.
Guys,
you can even dance to this in some strange way.
Jim, it's funny you said that because the first thing, when I was listening, just the very first songs, Lemmy comes out. I've had the chance to see him twice, Motorhead twice, and he comes out. We are Motorhead. And we play rock and roll. Well, right there, this is what it is. This is a rock and roll album.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
blues. That's what it is.
Exactly.
It's fast blues. It's not your chug chugs that you hear, in your typical metal bands. It's bluesy. It's fast-paced blues rock with those laid-back Lemmy vocals.
One of my favorite songs on here is "Devil's in My Head." Rock and roll music. It says it all. The title says it all. You swear it was a beat. It could have been Little Richard that came up with that one.
And Outlaw.
Outlaw is another great track. And one of my favorites is Waiting for the Snake.
Waiting for the Snake.
Those are the three I would recommend. But you know what? Bye Bye Bitch, Bye Bye, the last song. I think personally that's like the Beatles on speed. It's got that early rock and roll sound.
One song you left out is Born to Lose.
Born to Lose.
What a
It's a continuation of Born to Lose, Live to Win. In fact, there's a little bit of a riff in there that's right. You can find before the chorus on this. So.
Mickey D, of course, from King Diamond, right? He's just a phenomenal drummer. And you're right, the production, finally they got it right.
They finally got it right.
At 60 years old, Lemmy finally got it right.
And again, this one we got the bonus pack. It comes with Live at Wacken 2006.
I like to say Wacken.
Wacken, it could be, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Wacken.
Yeah, so say Wacken.
Wacken. On this album, every track is good. I'd give it a 9 out of 10, Jim.
Same here, 9 out of 10.
Also, another new release, Jim, is Lemmy the DVD.
Lemmy the DVD.
So it's
That's right.
It's a whole DVD about the one and only, the last of the Mohicans, Lemmy.
You want to see my impersonation?
Yeah,
I am Lemmy.
All those slow motion shots.
Here's my son, Lemmy.
Paul. Coming off the stage, slow motion. Heading towards the stage, slow motion. Heading towards the slot machine, slow motion.
You know what? I enjoyed it, though. I really enjoyed Lemmy. I saw it, and you know what? It's entertaining.
Having read Lemmy's autobiography, White Line Fever, a lot of the stories were found in the book, were repeated in the DVD, so there's nothing very surprising. Lemmy's a straightforward type of guy. I mean, and you see this in the movie, and he doesn't...
The only time I kind of like went like this in my seat, you know, it's kind of a little too military-ish. A lot of... You know, there's a lot of dressing up, some sort of, you know, Nazi dress up.
Well, like you said,
that's the only thing I didn't really enjoy. I kind of felt uneasy when he was doing that, and maybe that was what he wanted the audience to feel. I don't know, but I kind of felt a little uneasy about
it's one of his passions, of course, is World War II. And like he said, if the Italians had cooler-looking uniforms, he'd dress in an Italian army.
Why is he dressing up like a stormtrooper? That's what I wanted.
He likes the uniform.
Didn't Darth Vader have a nice uniform?
So again, that's a good book. It's his autobiography, White Line Fever, and this DVD that came out simply called Lemmy. We enjoyed it. Some good insights. A little bit. I would have liked the DVD to go back a little bit more into the beginning of Motorhead, maybe a little bit more about Fast Eddie. There's some good interviews. But again, for me, having read the book, knowing a little bit about Motorhead, there's no new revelations there.
Yeah.
Besides Lemmy shooting a cannon out of a tank.
Boom. Well, we can also talk about an album I've been listening to lately.
What's that one, Jim?
It was released last year. It's Halford.
Halford.
Made of Metal. I forgot the title. I had just Made of Metal. And you haven't
So we're looking at the complete opposite end of the vocal spectrum. You have Lemmy, and now we're going to the metal god himself, Rob Halford.
A lot of you probably heard a couple of tracks off this album, and I think it's a very strong album, Alan. It's not Judas Priest, so don't go expecting Judas Priest. It's not exactly Halford as Insurrection.
Is it the Roy Z?
It's Roy Z who plays guitar.
Or Zed?
Or Zed. It's a great album. It's catchy. It's melodic. He's more singing in his mid-range than his sort of super highs. There is one song called, I believe it's The Mower, where he's like, the painkiller vocals. But, I mean, songs like Made of Metal, Undisputed, you're mixing in boxing with car racing. It's a fun album to listen to. I bought this a few months back, and I put it on the shelf. And just lately, I just put the CD on again, and I really enjoyed listening to it. So I just thought I'd share that.
The sun's out, it's getting warmer, so that's probably a good song.
Made of Metal.
Good time of year to put it on because of the types of tunes that
absolutely.
You
So, I think it's worth the bucks. I think it's worth the money. Go out and get Rob Halford, Made of Metal. Don't expect Judas Priest. Expect more of the Halford solo with Roy Z as a guitarist / producer. Thanks for watching another edition of
The Metal
Boys.
And if you want to check us out on our website, it's
www.themetalvoice.com, or you can send us an email to
themetalvoice@gmail.com.
See you next time. Okay, let me get it straight. Okay, go. Okay, I put it there. Okay.
Hi, welcome to our show. My name's Al. I'm the metal guy.
The Metal Voice.
Okay, so if we get our homework done in time, maybe we can do more shows after this. Thanks for tuning in.